delighted that there's a wage increase for 2.5 million workers. And I suppose also we're really pleased about the victory for Citizens UK, who've been campaigning for the living wage since 2001, employers and workers working together. And we agree with George Osborne that the way out of poverty is work, but we are left with some questions about it. The living wage calculated independently by the Living Wage Foundation is £7.85 an hour, and the so-called national living wage announced today is only £7.20. So we have a question about, is it actually a living wage that working families can afford to live on? The second question is about London. So we've been working with the Mayor of London for 7 years now, and we've calculated that a living wage in London is £9.15. And the 2020 figure being quoted today of £9 an hour isn't even enough today for London people.
So you want a London waiting?
We do, yeah.
What about the more general cuts that we've seen to welfare today? I mean, Mr Osborne pointed out that Britain's got 1% of the world's population, generates 4% of its income, but yet accounts for 7% of welfare spending. I mean, that has to change, doesn't it?
Well, I think for us, I think the devil's in the detail. I think we've only really found out about the changes, so we've really worked through and see what that's going to mean. I think for me, it's about the impact on some of the vulnerable groups that we know already. So I'm particularly concerned about the cut in housing benefit for young people between 18 and 21. I think there's a conception that a lot of young people are at home and living with their parents and probably stay there, but that's not the reality. I mean, 19,000 young people are the lead claimants for housing benefit in the UK, and 120 of those are here in Coventry. A lot of those are young people with children of their own. Their families, they're married, they've got children and families of their own. And also, what about care leavers? What about young people who don't have parents, whose parents are in prison? And these young people are very vulnerable. They could be at risk of abuse and potentially homeless, so that does concern us.